Now, as a numerologist, you were involved in that show Sensing Murder.
That's right.
Tell me a bit about it.
Sensing Murder was a show designed around some clairvoyants that were selected to find people who died, that were lost, that nobody had any contact with. I didn't want to get involved with the front part of the show because in profiling, more behind the scenes, I was doing all the criminology and detecting who was likely to have been killed, when they died, that sort of stuff. And I brought that stuff forward for the producers, and they did the rest with the people in the cast.
Now, you're actually able to spook people like me by telling them quite accurately stuff that's happened in their history and stuff that might happen in their future.
Yes, if you're looking at what I do, there's a timeline from a person when they're born to when they pass over. That's it. And because I can graph it out and calculate, I can literally move the timeline up and down anywhere and see what's happened, which I then talk to the person about what has taken place at certain times. And once I've got that confirmed, I then say, this is what will happen, and therefore we can now control it better than just haphazardly. Literally, you improve the quality of your existence.
Give me an example of something that you've been able to accurately predict.
I had an incident where I was with 26 other guests at an American Thanksgiving. And one of the guests there was Eric Hertz. He used to be the CEO of 2 Degrees Mobile, and his wife, Kathy, she's a lovely lady. Eric wasn't overly interested in this stuff, but I tried to reason with him that there was a major event coming up in his company in 4 months' time. This was between March and April of the following year, 2013. He wouldn't have it, didn't want to know about it.
Yeah, so, some people are very sceptical about this stuff.
Yeah. So I tried to email him a couple of times after the event because I had found out more about him and his wife. And it was a definite event. I thought they may be going to America, or 2 Degrees was doing something behind the scenes. No, on the 30th of April, he flew into the ocean with his wife and they died, and the company changed direction, just as I had said. But to that degree, I couldn't tell because he didn't want to know. So these are things you can see that could have been avoided because people they're not really meant to die early. You've got a lifespan. It's just we bounce off the walls of experience and sometimes too hard, and you're a goner.
So is your future actually mapped out in a way that's readable in the numbers and you can't change it? You know, it's already pre-written?
People believe that once upon a time, but no, you can see it. If you know something's ahead, you can literally make a decision, a conscious choice of whether to or not to. There are 4 numbers in particular which have highlights of some pretty indicative stuff. And when I see those, I just tread very carefully.
Try if you can, because it seems awfully complicated and mathematical and exciting. But can you explain numerology for us in the simplest terms?
The simplest terms. We have 2 languages, mathematics and language. We speak without preempting the words coming out. We have a conceptual idea, so they come out and they produce understanding. Very nice blue top with your orange shoes on today.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, but if I just said to you, well, you're wearing actually 4 and 2, and you go, where did that come from? Well, black numerically adds up to a 2 number, and it associates with death. And unfortunately, the name death, word death, actually sums to the number 2. So I've got correlation between numbers and words. Numerology is just another language, but it's not about numbers. It's about what it represents. Just as the word dog and God in reversed have the same letters, but they're read differently, and the conception that we have about those areas are totally different things as well. So numerology is another language, except it explains the other language even more so. It's an unrevealed thing.
And do you find now, wherever you go, people are pestering you, going, do my numbers? Like everyone in the audience, they go, oh, can I have a go?
The doctor goes and he says at a gathering, yes, I'm a doctor. Oh, doc, I've got an ailment, Normally it's just a person's first name. So when you meet somebody, Cath, for example, I'm going 3128 in my head. And when I do that, all I'm doing is saying, oh, this is what you are. So Cath is a 4 name and a 3128, 4, 5. No, it's a 5 name. So you're chatty, you're colourful, you're bright.
You think?
Yeah. Just a tad.
You kind of knew that though, didn't you?
Yeah. But then it all comes down, even with the letter C at the beginning of your name. The letter C represents the moon, and it shines light and sees ahead. So anyone having the letter C up the front of their name has a sort of preemption about what's going to happen. It's just they can see that day ahead before it starts.
How fascinating.
It is, it's great.
This would be pretty useful if you were naming your children.
More than you realise, because I studied cot death and I've come across that. I've studied suicide and spoke with the doctors at the University of Otago and spoke with professors down there. And they can't believe how I've come up with the answers I've had that they've never been able to find before. But this is not yet now media. It's not mainstream media, I should say. That's something which is coming.
Yeah.
But I have literally cracked it because the empirical data shows it to be scientifically proven. So you can avoid suicide, you can avoid cot death. And I've helped people in both of those areas over my 35 years to date of doing this work.
Wow, and as you say, over 200,000 case studies.
I haven't counted beyond that. The computers are able to amass data. It's huge.
Oh, wow,
So
that's amazing.
Companies too. So companies, people, countries, cities all have the same value.
Wow.
You can work it out.
That's intense. Thank you so much for sharing that exciting and slightly mysterious information with us.
Oh yeah, but it's cool stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much.